In the world of My Hero, multiple quirks are a little interesting, some OP and some not, but in this universe of My Academia, this story, we're gonna see if we can give Izuku a power that is so overpowered that another anime even fears it. That's right, I want to give Izuku the Yami Yami no Mi, but a quirk. We're gonna start the story off very simply. Izuku one day was walking with Bakugo. As Bakugo is pretty much marching on his own little army, he accidentally slips over a log. Izuku, as a reaction, will actually stick out his hand and ask if Bakugo's alright, like yelling Bakugo and stuff. But when he does this, there's a black aura on his hand. This black aura would then absorb the area around it, making Bakugo get sucked towards Izuku. Izuku would then grab Bakugo, and Bakugo would wonder what that was, assuming he'd get another quirk, but the other kids would explain. Some black weird aura came from Izuku, and this changed everything. Almost immediately, Izuku came home smiling and full of glee, yelling to his mother that his quirk finally awoken. His mother took him to the hospital, and of course they did some tests. The man came back out with a notebook. Miss Inko Midoriya, your son's quirk is odd. I mean, it should just be counted as 3 separate quirks at this point. Maybe even 4. Inko would be confused. My son has 4 quirks? As the doctor would explain. No. Not 4 separate quirks. It's 1 quirk with 4 different abilities, which is quite rare nowadays. Normally a quirk only has 1 ability, and that's it. But your son Izuku can emit a black aura. When this black aura is emitted, he can do one of 4 things. He can either absorb, push away, cancel out other quirks, or morph this black aura into a different shape. As Inko would be a little confused, as Izuku would demonstrate, he would start by showing off how he can absorb things. He sticks out his hand and he would look at a cube. When he sticks out his hand, he would just say, absorb, and the cube would go towards him. Inko would assume he got this purpose quirk from her, in which the doctor assumes so too. The doctor also assumed that maybe the black aura came from his father, but when looking at the quirk history, his father's a fire breather and it made no sense. Inko would assume that Izuku's quirk is a more advanced version of hers. The doctor would state, well, yes, that's the absorption and pushing away part, but the whole morphing and canceling quirks parts I'm concerned of. As Inko would be confused, as the doctor would state, I mean, this quirk is amazing. Almost fit for a hero or a villain, but hopefully a hero. As the doctor looked at the young boy, Izuku would smile back. I'm gonna be an awesome hero, Mom, he'd say. They'd go home, and Izuku from that day on would control and train his quirk. Sometimes he'd even go to a beach far off to any other escaping eyes to train his quirk, more strictly the garbage-filled part of the beach. He would use this garbage to pull, push away. He'd even morph his black aura into swords or shields or even orbs. And not only that, he didn't really have time to try out his quirk canceling ability up until Bakugo. Around middle school, Bakugo was enough of Izuku, and figured that Izuku was just stealing the spotlight from him. Izuku's quirk was weird and mysterious, and most kids were drawn to it, but not only that, it seemed like 4 quirks in one, a package, unless Bakugo was a little upset. Day after day, Bakugo would try and torment until Izuku had enough, and canceled out Bakugo's quirk. Bakugo would question what's going on, and Izuku seen this as practice. He can cancel out some people's quirks. Now, I will explain. Izuku's cancellation of quirks is like Eraserheads. He can cancel out emitter and transforming quirks, but mutant quirks are a whole different ordeal. He can only cancel out some sub-abilities of mutant quirks. For example, Ida's engines. If he touches Ida, he can't start off his engines, but the engines are still going to be visible. Or like Sue, she can't cloak herself invisible if Izuku's touching her. Stuff like that. Now, after this, around high school, when Izuku submitted his application to UA and was accepted in, he went for the entrance exam. By this point, he already cleaned out the entire garbage-filled part of the beach and was on his way back home. It was also a day after school when a slime monster tried attacking Izuku. He would just cover his entire body in his black aura, and he would say, "Push." As the black aura, like it was sentient a bit, pushed the slime monster off him. Izuku then cloaked his hand in a black aura. Pull. As then, when the slime monster was all pushed away in different parts, all the slime monster would collect itself into, well, a pull motion towards Izuku. As he would then say, morph. A black aura would surround the slime monster and morph it into a ball. This is when All Might came out of a manhole. "No need to fear, I am here?" As he'd question himself, as he'd seen Izuku handle the situation very well. Izuku would then state, "Do you have any way I can contain this guy? It's getting real difficult." I forgot to mention, this black aura pretty much sucks Izuku's energy, so he can't use it for long periods of time. I can't make it too OP now, can I? After a bit, All Might finds a random bottle, and Izuku would place the slime monster in the bottle and close it. The slime monster would complain how this is humiliating, and Izuku and All Might would shake hands. Izuku even thought to himself, I could have canceled his quirk then and there. Maybe All Might has a transforming quirk, or a morphing quirk. Maybe his mutant quirk's just having muscle. And so All Might would shake Izuku's hand and ask what his quirk was. Izuku would explain, "Oh, my quirk is called darkness. I can control gravity, like pushing and pulling. I can also cancel out quirks, and I can morph this black aura that I emit into multiple things." All Might was kind of startled. Cancel out quirks. Well, hopefully he's going to be a hero one day. Izuku would then state, "I'm planning on going to UA. I heard you went there too." As All Might would smile, "Of course I went there. It's the #1 hero school in the whole state, in all of Japan really, maybe even the world." As Izuku would smile and get on his way. This is around the time we got back to the beach, and just on cue, Bakugo was stalking, as he then went up to Izuku. "Hey, Deku." As Izuku would look back, "Hey, Bakugo, come on. You know what I want to be called. Besides, I've been planning on changing my quirk's name. I can do that legally now, did you know?" As Izuku was kind of taunting Bakugo, but at the same time trying to make meaningful conversation. He already knew what Bakugo was going to say. Same old, same old. As Bakugo would then state, "I heard you got accepted into UA. Hopefully, if I'm teamed up with you in the entrance exam, you're going to be eating my dust." As Izuku would then state, "Well, that's kind of clever of you to say, if I couldn't just pull you back towards me. And heck, I can't even pull you away from me. I've been working on this new ability," as Bakugo would cut him off. "I don't give a damn about your abilities. I'll be able to beat your ass no matter what." As he walked off, Izuku would be kind of sad. Same old, he would tell himself. As Izuku would walk back home, the UA entrance exam was in 3 hours, and Izuku bursted out of the door. He'd use his pushing on the soles of his feet to create a more boost of speed. Now, by the time he got to the UA's entrance exam, he also saw Bakugo, but he did trip. He was going to use his quirk to push himself away, but he realized that he was floating, as a girl with brown hair apologized. "I hope you don't mind if I use my quirk on you. You just tripped and fell, and I thought I should just help you." Izuku would catch himself, and Uraraka would release her quirk. "My name's Ichako Uraraka." As Izuku would then state, "My name's Izuku Midoriya." Ichako and Izuku would walk into class one night, not 1 a.m., at the entrances together, as they talk about their dreams and stuff. Izuku would apologize about his clumsiness and even explain his quirk a little bit. He realized she is still technically competition until the exam is over, so he only explained the basics. "I emit this black aura, and well, I can push and suck things towards me." He didn't mention the whole quirk canceling or the morphing part. Uraraka would kind of do the same. "Oh, I can make things float." She didn't mention the fact that she needed to physically touch people, or the fact that she has to release them in a certain amount of time. They still talked, though, up until the auditorium. President Mike would do his whole shtick. "Welcome to UA, the entrance exam. You guys aren't all in yet, but luckily, and hopefully you will be. There are 3 robots, the 1-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer. All you need is at least 20 hero points. Do you think you can do that?" Or, if none of you can get at least 20 hero points, you need to be in the top 50 students, and there's hundreds of you. As a boy with glasses and blue hair would stand up, President Mike, how can we ever trust you when you lie to us blatantly? As Mike would look at him. Wait, what did you say? As he would then announce himself as Tanya Ida, and would explain that there's a fourth robot, the Zero Pointer. As Ida would go a rant of how they're supposed to trust student faculty, when in actuality all they do is lie. But President Mike would just explain, it's a 0-point robot, just move around it. It's not worth much, I don't think you guys cared. Anyway, let's go outside to ground beta. As they all went, Izuku was just gonna go up to Uraraka, but then Tenya Ida got in his way. Now normally, Tenya Ida stopped him, but Izuku didn't care. All Izuku did was emit a black aura, touch Ida, and push him away slightly. As Ida would ask what Izuku thinks he's doing, Izuku looked at him in a menacing glare. That's the very least I will go. Do it again, and I'll have to push you up the way to Timbuktu. You got it? He continued walking, as he would say hi to Uraraka. They would converse again, same topics, but it didn't matter, as President Mike would open the doors. There's no countdown in a battle. Go, go, go! As everybody rushed, Izuku stopped and didn't move a bit. As then he then chuckled to himself. This is gonna be fun. Before anyone could even touch a robot, Izuku created a giant black orb and placed it right behind him, as he then said, absorb. As pretty much anything within a 20-meter radius was sucked straight towards the orb, and that included every student. Every student was now behind Izuku as he ran off. He stated to himself, that orb will hold until what? About a minute? That should be long enough to rank up at least 10 points. He would boost the soles of his feet with his Yami quirk. He'd then create a giant sword and slash at multiple robots, using both suck and absorb to make a cut. This would go on for around 10 minutes, as every student now got to rank up at least some points. By the time any student got 1, Izuku had 20. By the time anyone had 10, Izuku had 50. It did not matter. Izuku was straight up in the lead. At one point, he just stopped, waiting until some people got more points, and then continued. This went on for around 15 minutes. And around this time, the teachers were noticing Izuku's immense potential. For a quirk as basic as sucking, pulling, and morphing, as far as they know, and they did read up on Izuku Midoriya's file and realized that he also could cancel out quirks. All Might would explain his concern, as all the teachers would look behind. Well, he can cancel out quirks, and he also seems to have 4. Do you think it could be? As Nezu would then state, if it is, we'll notice. Calm yourself, Toshi. As he would then continue looking at the monitor. They would then state, let's just test out this boy, huh? President Mike stated, as he'd push a button for the 0-pointer. Izuku noticed a giant rumbling and smiled. Are they testing me? No. It's not about me. Maybe they're testing other students. The 0-point robot practically smashed his way through the city, as eventually a girl was shouting for help. As all the other students were running away, Izuku noticed the same girl who helped him earlier, trapped in the rubble. Well, God damn it, as he then used the solar piece to boost himself up towards the head of the robot. As he then would absorb the air around him, as he would then yell. Alright, this is a technique he's been working on for a bit. Black Whiplash. As he would then absorb the air and convert that air and push it out of his fist. With this, the giant 0-point robot was missing his head. Jesus Christ, I stutter. Was missing the entire head of the 0-point robot. But in actuality, it was just pushed back, well, half the city's length away. As the entire robot in sync would push back too. Izuku was falling, and he didn't really think of a way of his landing. If he did use push, he might accidentally hurt the girl, but the girl did tap him for it so he can float. She then released him, and he would be able to catch his feet. He carried her out until, what was her name? Until Recovery Girl was able to get a hold of her. Izuku walked home, and they sent his scores in the mail. They said that Izuku got number 1, and that his points were 80 attack points, or villain points, and 60 rescue points, with a grand total of 140 points, almost a new record. As all might within state, Izuku Midoriya definitely got into UA with his Yami quirk. Izuku laughed out loud, "Zee ha ha ha!" as he would yell. As his mother heard his laughter, walked in and noticed that he got in. She hugged him and he hugged her back. And this will be the end of What If Izuku Had the Yami Quirk. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.